I am so happy to have with me Michelle Iren Stupski. Can you tell a little bit about yourself and how you got into the spirituality and your spiritual journey?
Well, thank you for having me, first of all, Heidi. And it's so nice to see you after all these years. So, my name is Michelle Iren Stupski, and I am a soul purpose coach. And what that means for me personally is I guide others to navigate through life because life is constantly changing and it begins to sometimes at moments become very difficult. And so I help women find the tools to connect to divine source. And my journey began before I even realized it began, which is all of our cases, right? But I do remember having an extremely profound moment in church when I was about 3 years old, 2 to 3 years old, which don't typically have a lot of memories at that age. And I remember sitting in the church pews. I was brought up Catholic, and we went to church every Sunday or Saturday night. And I remember looking at the angel statues, the angel paintings on the walls, on the ceilings, and looking into the eyes of these angels as if I knew them.
Mm,
And I felt at home with them. I felt very comfortable with them. And I wanted to know more about them. And so that's how I would get through some of those long masses is really connect with the angels and just kind of wonder who they were and what they were all about. And little did I know that I actually do know who they are because they are a part of me.
mm,
And so my love for angels began as I got older and I began to realize this connection. So, but it wasn't really into my mid 30s when I kind of had, I don't want to say it was a nervous breakdown, but it was a breakdown for sure. I couldn't get out of bed. I was extremely depressed.
mm,
I was tired. I was tired of trying to be the perfect person, the perfect wife, the perfect mom, have the perfect house, do all the things. And somewhere I got lost in the midst
mm,
of all of that. And that's when I said, all right, I need to do something. I need to figure this out. I need to find a way. I felt like there was a greater calling for me. I felt like there was this purpose that was yanking at me and pulling me. And excuse me, now I realize it literally was my soul. My soul was
mm.
like reaching for me to come back home. And that's where we are.
Wow, what a beautiful story! And and when you said that you were 3 years old, did you have any other experience when you were a child?
Um, yeah, I mean, throughout my life and the reason I realized this more 10 years ago. It'll be 10 years ago this coming year that I started writing. I started to see this beautiful succession of events that transpired throughout my life. And I started to see how my angels were leaving me breadcrumbs along the way. And they were showing me the way, they were guiding me. And I was listening to that calling and I was not realizing it, of course. And I was understanding that there was a divine plan and I knew things were going to happen before they happened.
Mm,
And I could see things that were going to happen before they happened. And of course, as I, moved into personal development, which I've always had a keen interest in. I wanted to go into school to be a psychologist, but I deemed myself not smart enough and not worthy
mm.
enough to do that. So I was holding myself back in many ways. So it's really just as you reflect back upon the times, I think in the younger years, you don't really realize what's happening when it's happening. And I think we all have this
Mm.
connected. and that we all have these beautiful intuitive abilities. We all have psychic abilities. We all have manifesting abilities. It's just a matter of waking them up and deciding how you want to use them.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and because we have to unlock them in ourselves, because we have to believe also that we have them, and the more
Yes,
we are using them, the more they you get in touch with them also.
absolutely. I like to say it's almost like a muscle, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it. And
Yes.
so if you're not tapping into your intuition, because that is one of the greatest ways that angelic guidance taps through us, they speak
Yeah.
to us through our intuition, through our imagination. You know, a lot of times people will see things and go, oh, that's just me making that up. But a lot of times it's not you making it up, it's you being shown, you know,
Yeah.
what to do next. It's showing you the next big step or
Yeah.
the next little step.
Yeah. I see that the connection is a little bit off, and I don't know why, but I will see if we get if it's better now. But yeah, that is so true. I have had some experience when I wanted to go one road, and then you get stopped, and then you go another way, and then you meet someone. So that is interesting, how you are guided all the time, but you are not able to understand that in the beginning.
Yeah. And those detours are great. They're great ways for new learning experiences. And but what I found with my, even if I divert off of the plan, if I go not really a detour, I consider that my angels guiding me towards that, but they always come back to this track of full alignment, and they always bring me back to the basics. It's like, okay, you've learned this. Now take what you've learned and bring it back to where we started and put everything together. So sometimes we go off in these directions and we think that's where we have to stay. And it's not feeling good. It's not feeling in alignment, which, you know, sometimes things don't feel good when we're learning. I get that. We have to be uncomfortable to get
Yeah.
comfortable, to grow, but we need to come back home. So we all have a home base of our core belief, our core mission. And so there's all these different little splinters that take us in different directions, but bring it back together, bring it back home.
Yeah, that's so true. And the more we look at what we have been through or what we have learned, the more we also grow.
Absolutely. And a lot of times we don't really fully understand the lesson, especially when it's happening. And sometimes
Mm.
after it happens, we still don't understand what it's all about, but we have to trust that it's of our highest good and that there is light within that situation. And when we discover that light, it's when we expand our vibration and we allow ourselves to grow even more. But what's beautiful about having a spiritual practice is that you can see almost instantaneously the lesson that is being served to you in the moment. And when
Yes.
you can be in that space, that heightened vibration of energy, when you're in that space, the expansion is 10x.
Mm.
So for me, I feel like spiritual practice is more about being able to recognize those moments right when they're happening, or maybe
Mm.
even before they happen and be like, oh, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
You know, or in the moment, you're like, all right, what's this really about? Oh, okay, yeah, I see the lesson. This is amazing. And so for me personally, and for my clients, this allows the anxiety to kind of settle before it even arises, or the depression to not set in.
Yeah.
Like you can feel yourself slipping into that space again, and you're like, no, I feel this. I feel you. This is not happening. How are we going to stay where we are? in the lesson and see it for what its value is and understand your true value in this
Yes.
situation.
Yes, that's so true. Because when you learn to step into whatever is in front of you, then you can get more in tune with how to see what you need in that moment. So you're not going into the sadness and the depression or the anger, and that you can pause a little bit and then you say,
Yes.
what is the best thing for me to do in this situation?
Yeah. So one of the things I teach my clients is in these moments to pause, like you said. I consistently say pause and reflect.
Mm,
And the more you practice this, the more instantaneous, like the pause and reflect can literally be a split second so that you can take inspired action as opposed to being reactive
yeah.
and not and doing something or saying something that you wished you hadn't said. So I
Yes.
have this groundbreaking 4-step technique that I work with my clients on, and there's 4 steps in the process, and I call it the solution activation, which is kind of a funny way that this word came about as I was journaling one day and I was writing something about a solution. And as I'm writing, a lot of times I channel my messages. Matter of fact, my latest book is fully all of my channeled messages from my journals from like 3 years of healing. And I had to like put it all together to kind of create a story and how and that's how my process got developed really was through my healing and helping others. So but as I was writing solution, my angels put the you in there. So I'm writing and all of a sudden I was like, solution, what is that? And that was like
Mm,
3.5 4 years ago that was actually I remember circling it in my journal going, oh, this is something. This is
mm,
so they were laying breadcrumbs, right? They were starting to show me that there's a process that you can
mm.
heal in the moment, not afterwards, but in the exact moment that something is happening. And so as you practice this solution activation technique, it again, in a split second, you can go through the 4 steps, which is recognition, acceptance, release, and inspired action. You can be like boom, 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 and you
Mm.
can know what to do right in that moment.
Okay. Are you there?
And this pattern,
Yeah, now you are
oh,
back.
there we are. Okay, interesting.
Interesting. Yeah,
Spirits,
really.
spirit is intervening.
Yeah, it is. But that is something that happened a lot when I have my interview, that
Mhm.
spirit is intervening or something is
Yeah,
happening. So,
yeah.
but you told about the exercise, and I today I was in a situation that I felt like, oh, this I don't like, and then I I felt like the anger was coming up,
Mm-hmm.
but then I was pausing and I was breathing and I was calming myself down, and then I said something. And but sometimes it is that it's going so fast. The
Yeah,
So you are reacting
yeah,
before you have the ability to look into the situation, to choose again, and to respond to what is happening.
yeah. Your body reacts
Yeah,
immediately to any situation. And so really it's about the awareness of paying attention to what you're feeling in your body.
yeah,
And then that feeling in your body, creates this thought. And a lot of times the thought goes back to an earlier experience that made you feel this same, well, didn't make you feel this way, but your body reacted in the same way. Because as we understand, we create our own feelings, we create
Yes.
our own reality. So when you recognize how you're feeling in that situation, you can immediately go, wait, why am I feeling this way? This really is not about what's happening right now. This is about something that's happened in the past.
Yeah.
And when we can begin to regulate our nervous system and understand where that feeling and that emotion is coming from, we can again redirect our thoughts and come from a place of love.
Mm.
And when we're coming from a place of love, it's not just for the other person, it's for ourselves as well. And so it creates a better situation. So really it's the recognition again of what is this, what is going on, and realizing that something that happened in the past is not who you are right
Mm.
now. This is not me in this moment. This is something that happened to me a long time ago. It does not serve me any purpose anymore.
Mm.
And the unfortunate thing is that your body doesn't realize the difference of experiencing that feeling now or experiencing that feeling 40 years ago.
Yes.
Your body experiences it the same exact way. And so that's where the deeper work comes into play. And how can we not allow this to affect me moving forward? So there's
Yes.
there's so many different avenues, and that's why it makes this industry so interesting and exciting because there's just so much to it all.
Yeah.
There's I just got done taking a certification course in hypnosis, and I learned so much about
Wow.
anxiety and limiting beliefs that I was like, oh, this makes sense now. I mean, we actually have these two like little bean shaped things in our head called the amygdala.
Yeah.
And that is where our feelings and our emotions are stored. And so we're building upon that and we're piling it on, and there's so many different veils of illusion that have been built upon the stories that we tell ourselves over and over and over again. And each
Yeah.
time we tell that story, the fish gets bigger, 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 bigger until we believe it as our truth. And it's not our truth. When you get to the core essence of the experience, that's not your truth in the now, in the
Yeah.
present moment.
Yeah. Because when we are in this moment, then the past and the future isn't there. Then we can just be. And that is something
Right.
that I was
Yeah.
walking in the nature today, and it hit me really like, aha, that's wow. When you are in alignment, then you are not in the present and you are not in the future. You are here and you are grounded and you are doing the things that you're supposed to do, your creativity. You are in your power. You are speaking, you are from your heart. You are speaking your truth. And you are connecting with the things that is in front of you, that you are
Yes.
seeing vision and using your intuition. And then you take the guidance that you get when it is. And everything happens now. It is not happening in the past and it is not happening in the future. And I was like, wow, then you are in alignment. When you are not taking your past with you.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I love to tell my clients, or I not love to tell them, but to teach them is the first step in all of this is the awareness.
Yeah.
And so when you have those aha moments of where you are in the present moment, that awareness, that energy begins to transform in so many different avenues. And the idea is to be more aware of where you are, what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're creating, because you're creating your moments. I have this saying that's on one of my oracle cards. You create your experience before, during, and after it happens.
Yeah.
So before an event, you begin to have these feelings and these thoughts of how the event is going to transpire, who's going to be there, how you're going to react to them, how you're going to greet them, and then you're like, oh, I hope this person doesn't do that. And I hope they don't embarrass me. Or, I hope that everybody greets me with a big hug. And so you're creating through your thoughts what's going to transpire. And then when you're at the event,
Mm.
you're working the room with your mindset, and you may be judging, you may be comparing, you may be loving, laughing, and enjoying the moment. But what are you creating in that moment? And then when you leave the event, and this goes for any life experience, not just a
Yes.
party, but when you leave, you talk about it. You talk about the experience. You talk about what so and so wore. You talk about what they did, what they said, how they made you feel. And you're consistently creating before, during, and after things happen in your life.
Mm.
So it's about the awareness of those thoughts and what it is you're
Mm.
creating.
Yes, that's so true. Because sometimes you are not in the present, and but you are, when you are talking about it, then you are telling what happened, but you are not in the present when it's happening, so you
Right.
can't tell the whole story about what happened in the moment.
Right. Right. And then sometimes when we're telling the story, we add little tidbits to it
Yeah,
that
because
might
sometimes
be
it can
truth,
be
might
like,
not be truth.
yeah, but you said that you started in your, you have seen things that has happened before it's happened. What do you think that means? And is that the angel that is guiding you to your soul, or what do you think about that?
Uh, that's a really good question. What I think those moments is your memory, your soul's memory, remembering the sacred plan that you created before you even came here to this beautiful
Hmm.
earth school. So like a thing like a deja vu,
Yeah.
when I mean I know I don't know anybody that hasn't experienced a deja vu, and they just kind of people just kind of like, it's a deja vu, so cool. But literally what it is spirit saying you're on the right path.
Yeah.
They're showing you this is you created this. That's why you feel like you've been here before, because you have. And as you dive deeper into that spiritual awareness, those deja vus become more and more profound.
Mm.
As for seeing things before they happen, I remember back in high school, I used to be an international competitive gymnast, and I was
Mm.
out at the Colorado Olympic Training Center for a national competition. And as a gymnast, before you do your event, you go through everything in your mind. And I remember going through my vault in my mind, seeing myself run down the runway, do my vault, land, dislocate my knee,
Oh,
fall to the ground.
oh no.
I screamed so loudly that the girl on beam fell off, the girl on bars fell off. And so I was like, I shook my head. I was like, oh, why are you thinking that? Like, why would you create that? You know? And sure enough, I run down the vaulting runway and the whole thing happens the way I just envisioned it. And so some people might say, well, you manifested that.
Yeah.
But there is a fine line where the sacred plan and manifesting come into play. So that is something that we work on in the Awaken program to understand. Are you simply remembering your soul's plan, or are you actually manifesting it? And is
Mm.
manifesting part of the sacred plan? And how do they merge together?
Mm.
Because I believe we can build upon that plan. And that's where manifesting is going to transpire for somebody. But if you're not following the plan, if you're not fully aligned with your soul's mission, manifesting is not going to work for you if
Mm.
you're not doing it from an authentic space. So there's a lot of different things out there about manifesting and just say this and do that and things will come your way, but it's so much greater than that.
Yeah.
It's so profound. That's like a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, but that is really interesting. It's so interesting when you are telling about that it is your soul mission, because I have had some experience that I can see what happens. It is like a film, and then when
Hmm.
it's happened, I immediately, oh, now I'm on the right path. And
Mhm.
but I had an experience when I was in Lanzarote in 2013, because it was so spiritual experience for me. That's why I remember it so well. It was that I did a meditation, and I was listening to a meditation for an hour. And when I meditate, I saw what is going to happen. And then like 2 hours after that, it happened. So I think it is also about the energy, because it is a volcano island. And I think that it was so powerful how you got connected there
Yeah.
because of the energies. That was
Yeah.
really high. What do you think about that?
I totally agree with that. I mean, it's all about the energy. We are energy. We're light
Yeah.
energy. And so, spirit showing you lots of different ways. Even like I said, going through high school, I had a lot of different experiences where I would see a more tragic thing like that happen. And I think it was really spirit going, wake up. We are
Yeah.
showing you, and you're not paying attention. So I'm going to really show you so you start to pay attention.
Yeah.
And so I started to pay attention. Again, it's about the awareness of this energy. And it's so profound when you actually begin to pay attention to this force. And when you're
Mm.
sitting in meditation and that relaxed state of being, and when you come out of that meditation, the way you're feeling, that's your authentic spirit.
Yeah.
That's who you are in your greatest light form. And so that's where you want to kind of try to stay. Now, of course, we can't meditate all day long unless we're monks living on the top of a mountain,
Mm.
but we can bring ourselves back to that place much quicker with the spiritual tools. And that's why I love my solution technique is that, within a split second, you can go through this process of bringing yourself back into alignment, of feeling better, even
Mm.
in the midst of chaos, because then you can navigate through that chaos and that difficult situation with more grace than you would have before.
Yeah. That's so true. And when you meditate, when we meditate, it is about also, the more we meditate, the more space we get to get the message that we need.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more you practice it, the more you use that intuitive muscle, the more that vibration increases and the more information that comes your way. And before you know it, your thoughts are and that connection with divine source are walking with you all day long, not just when you meditate. So I think that's why so many people love meditation so much and they love the sound baths, but they're missing that step of taking that frequency with them when
Yeah.
they go back to quote unquote normal life.
Yes.
And that's the awareness that I'm talking about is like, we don't want to, when we're in the spiritual enlightenment, we're living in light. So
Yeah.
it's not about calling the light in or necessarily calling the light outwards, when we share our light, but it's about walking with that light. Like walk in the essence of divine angelic guidance.
Yeah.
Walk in the essence of your authentic spirit.
Yeah.
And more of that stuff is just going to keep coming your way.
Yeah. Yeah. That. that is so interesting, because when we are in the frequency, we are in that energy that we make when we meditate. And like I said to you before we did this interview, or was it in the interview? Because I'm in the present, my yoga teacher told about how it is that when you are connected in the spiritual practice and the spiritual journey, then it is important when you meditate also that you keep the highest frequency and vibration that you possibly can, because it has impact on everybody when you meditate.
Yeah, absolutely. But even when you're walking the earth, you know, even when you take that part of your practice with you, everywhere you go, when you open the door for somebody, you're sharing your light with people. I remember right before COVID locked everything down, I was on a beach in Florida, and the world was really stepping into this big fearful state of being, because, you know, they were throwing fear at us left and right. And I remember walking on the beach, and all I could hear was share your light, share
Yeah.
your light. Yeah. So as I'm walking down the beach, I literally I didn't walk like this, but I envisioned my hands going out to the side with my hands wide open to allow
Yeah.
this light that was within me, that's channeling through me, right to my soul, out to my hands, and just spreading the light to the people that were on the beach. And it's going out into the ocean, and it's going out into the beach on the other side of me. And that's all I could think about doing in the moment to help ease the fear of the collective.
Yeah.
And we are powerful beings. If there's enough light workers in the world, I mean, there's a reason why there's so many of us right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we are on the verge of the biggest spiritual awakening ever in the planet of the history.
Yeah.
I fully believe that. And we are going to be needed more than ever, because there's so much fear and chaos going on in the world. And
It is so true.
and we know about it more than we ever have before, because of the internet, because of technology. I mean, technology is energy,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
all of that energy is traveling above us, around us, in us, through these, you know, I've got a screen and a laptop and a phone, even the microphone that's plugged in, even the light, like this is all energy.
Yeah.
And it's coming at us in all these different directions. And people are in chaos because they don't know what's going on. You know, it's coming at them in all these different directions. And as light workers, we are the grounding base. You know, we are
Yeah.
the ones that are going to be like, okay, let's bring it in. Let's remember
Yeah.
who we are. Let's remember who we came here to be. And let's
Yeah.
do our thing.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, when you talk about this, is that we met in the Gabrielle Bernstein's event, and it was right before the COVID. It was right before, and I have thought about that we got to be prepared for what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Did you have the same experience about it?
I did. I thought it was really odd that Gabby had announced that she wasn't going to be doing the Spirit Junkie the following year.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, huh, like this is a big event for her.
Yeah.
And she had already announced that she wasn't going to be doing this live the following year, almost as if she knew.
Yeah.
You know, it just wasn't going to be possible. And so yeah, in that moment, I was kind of like, huh, something big is happening.
Yeah.
Something bigger is bigger than us is going down.
Yeah. For me, it was like I got the feeling that if I wanted to go to the USA, then I had to go then, because something
So
was
before the event.
Yes, before the event.
Nice.
So that's why I was, yeah. now I'm going to, and it was also a celebration about my new start and my new beginning. But
Yes.
it was so, when I look back at what I wrote in my journey, diary, then I saw that I had written that I had to I have to go now, and this is important for me to go at this moment. So
Mm.
when I look back, then I see, oh, we were preparing, and
Mm-hmm.
all the things that happened there was so magic.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, those events were incredible.
Yeah,
And I loved it because it was a smaller group setting than,
yeah,
the bigger events that she would have, and it was more intimate. And not only that, but you got to meet so many amazing people
yeah,
like yourself, that I would say there's still a handful of people I still keep in touch with. And that's what it's about, right? It's about
yeah,
that connection, creating that authentic connection.
yeah. And it was so nice to meet you there, and so nice also that you were able now to
Yeah.
do this podcast, because we had tried 3 times.
I know. Yeah, I mean, and I remember your story. I remember talking to you and you sharing what was going on in your life at that time.
Yeah,
And but I knew you were going to be okay. I knew, and you were so confident in your decision,
yeah,
even though maybe you didn't speak so confidently about what you were doing, you were kind of questioning it, but I could feel the energy that what you were doing, where you were going was your next step in the
yeah.
journey. And look at you now.
Thank you so much for that. Um,
It's amazing.
it is amazing also to see and how you are blooming, and what you have done, and being a part of your group, uh, your authentic uh, authentic self, or something like that.
Connection.
Yes,
Authentic connection.
authentic connection. And but you said also that you have written books. Can How many books? And
I've written 4 books.
4 books, and you started
Four
the
books.
first.
The last book, I actually pulled it up here because I thought maybe I could read a passage from it. But this
Yes.
is called Flying Free. And this is really my healing journey, kind of all summed up into one big space. It's the guide to releasing the voice of self-doubt, negativity, and judgment in a spiritual way. And um, yeah, it's about that growth. It's about that woman who gets to that certain point in her life where she's like, whoa, is this it? Like, who am I? What do I do next? Like, is I remember literally going, oh my gosh, like, is this it? Is this the point where I become a couch potato and I just eat whatever and I get fat and I don't care about what I look like anymore? And I just watch TV all day and wait for myself to die.
Yeah,
It's like, what? No, that's not what I want. That's not who I am. Like, that's when I started to get that pull of, okay,
yeah,
you need to figure this out and you need to help other people do this.
yeah.
um, of course, I didn't know I was supposed to help other people do this at the time, but I remember when I wrote my first book, I wrote in there, if I can help one person
Mm,
see something within themselves that they didn't recognize before, then my job is done.
yeah,
I mean, I was literally just hoping to help one person. I
yeah.
didn't know what I was going to do with these books. I was told literally in Barnes and Noble one day to write the book. It was this loud male, very deep baritone voice that said, write the
Mm,
book. And I
yeah.
looked around in the aisles and I was like, nobody was in sight. So I'm like,
Mm,
what book? like show me what book I'm supposed to write. And so then this whole line of events started to transpire that kept encouraging me to write this book, write this book, write this book. I
Mm.
knew it was about angels, but I was kind of going off in different directions. And so the first book was literally just 75 stories of me and my stories of angels. But as I was writing this book, I actually had a store in our local mall. People found out I was writing this book and started coming to me with their angel stories.
Wow.
So I was able to take other people's stories and put them into this book. And
Yeah.
everything just kind of blossomed from there. And it was actually through Gabby when I was writing my third book, Angel's Love, that the book was more about tapping into your intuition and learning how to connect with your angels. And then all of a sudden the book took a 180 and said, all right, you need to focus on yourself. Stop
Mm.
focusing on connecting with angels, because when you focus on yourself and connect with your true authenticity, then your connection with angels and spirit and quantum leaps in the universe and divine source and whatever you want to call it is going to be that much better.
Yeah.
So it took me to that space. And then I had to dive more deep into self care, self healing, self nurturing, and really discover who you are as a soul identity, and then allow those two to merge. And then, like, divine connection is 10x. It's just
Yeah.
incredible.
Wow. Wow. That is incredible. And what a journey it is. I'm also writing books, and but at the moment I haven't put everything together because I'm
Mhm.
writing on many books. I don't know why it is like that at the moment, but the books comes when it is ready. And like you said,
Yes.
that the stories came, and your journey came, and then you see that, oh, this is a book. Now I can put it out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So my first book I wrote literally in like 3 or 4 months. My last book took me almost 3 years,
Yeah.
because it was a work in progress, because
Yes.
I was still a work in progress. There are still channeled messages that are in this book that I'm just like, I don't remember writing that in my journal. I don't remember typing that in the book. I don't remember reading it when I
Wow.
was editing it. And I still don't understand what it means. But the
Wow.
messages are there to be revealed when the
Yeah.
time is right. You
Yeah.
know, of course, I understand it all way better than I did when I was writing it, but it's just incredible when you are channeling and that message is coming through you. Like you said, the book will complete itself
Yeah.
when it's time. It's
Yeah.
all about divine timing.
Yeah.
And this last book is just such a great reference. You can almost use it as an oracle card.
Yeah.
You just hold the book. And I'd like to do this with any book, really. It's like, what's my message for today? And then just open it up to any page. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I really needed to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's practicing with little moments like that. What do you got for me today? Show
Yeah.
me how I'm supposed to serve today. What's in my highest interest today? Instead of like asking for something specific, like, am I going to get that job? Just be like, how can I serve?
Yeah.
You know, that's a beautiful way to keep your energy frequency higher. When you
Hmm.
leave your meditation class and you're feeling that strength, that's the moment to ask spirit, what do you have for me today?
Yeah.
And then go out and do your day in
Yeah.
that spirit of that energy.
That that was a great advice. That you use it when you come out of the meditation,
Yeah.
because
Because I think a
then
lot of times people don't connect. Sorry,
mm.
go ahead.
No, just say it.
I think a lot of times people don't connect with spirit in their practice unless they're struggling.
Yeah.
It's in those moments, right, when we drop to our knees and surrender and we pray, but what if you practice when things are going great?
Yes.
Imagine enhancing that amazing vibration to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
That is how we rise above. It's not in the moments of chaos and struggle alone, it's in the moments of greatness and celebration that we really raise our vibration to another level. Because what happens is, okay, you've raised your vibration and then something happens and that heavy energy brings you down. So you bring your vibration down. But if you're happy and your vibration is high and you increase that vibration, now what happens when something brings you down? You're not as low as you were if you hadn't practiced.
Hmm.
And so I think people forget that even in moments of celebration, surrender to that moment of celebration. Be in
Yeah.
that moment of now, like we talked about right at the beginning,
Yeah.
right? Be in that celebratory moment of that energy, and you're only going to rise higher.
Yeah. So
It's a
true.
beautiful process. Beautiful
Yeah,
process.
it is. It is. It is. It's something that we have to recognize and take into that we have to take into this is a hard word, so I'm trying to talk a little bit around it. That you look at when you are in that space, that you are seeing that this is important for me. It is important
Mhm.
to also take contact with the spirit and the guidance and the angels and the spiritual practice when you have an amazing time, not only when you are desperate and need some advice. So that
Yeah.
is a great advice, Michelle. But you said that you wanted to read a little bit about in your book. Could you
Yeah.
read a sentence or five?
Sure. Um, so one of the most asked questions from my clients in which they seek answers is, I don't feel happy. I should feel happier. What is my purpose? What is next? Is this all there is? The answers come from a place we cannot see, but we can hear if we choose to listen.
Mm,
How, in a capital, to receive the freedom and happiness so many attempt to discover can now be found. The caveat is a greater understanding of the pursuit of purpose and how it leads you to what is next.
yeah. That,
So I have this theory that so many of us are seeking this big, huge purpose. And the truth is, we serve purposes throughout our entire life. We have multiple purposes.
yes.
So your mission, that all these purposes fall under this big umbrella of a mission, is something that is deep within your soul, something that tugs at your heart. And it's the light that connects us to all.
Yeah.
And so that's why I came up with the name the Angelic Light Council, because this consists of all light beings. I got so tired of saying the universe, the quantum field, the angels, the spirit
Yeah.
guides, spirit, divine source, divine light. Let's encompass it all. And
Yeah.
let's just call it the Angelic Light Council. And let's just call them all in.
Yeah.
We don't even have to know who we're praying to. We just know it's light energy and we know we're connected. And let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah. Yes. And because it isn't so important to who, it is important that it is the light and the energy, and that we are doing it to the highest good for all.
Yes.
That is, if you should say something to the people that has listened to this podcast, what would that be?
That's a really good question. I think my my biggest piece of advice is we tend to make everything so much more difficult than it is as human beings.
Mm,
And that is why, like I said, under that umbrella of light beings, I just gave it one name. We don't have to know the how. All we
mm,
have to know is what's the next little baby step for us to take. And as we take that next step, the next purpose is going to appear. And each purpose is going to continue to appear as we complete each cycle. And if it's not feeling right, then pull yourself back into alignment through your practice so that you can see clearly, so that you can listen more, so that you can become more aware of the energy that is around you, not working against you, but working in your favor. It's there for you. Use that energy. Don't be afraid of it. It's here for you.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for being here today and telling and showing and sharing your wisdom. I'm so happy to have met you in the live and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you. This has been a pleasure. I could talk all day long to you. It's been
Yeah,
wonderful conversations. So thank you.
thank you. And thank you to all the listeners that has listened today.